All right, well, today we are finally going to be blasting the bottom and sandblasting, probably using brushes and maybe another tool if I can get it. Like I've talked about before, I'm just getting ready for it. So maybe that other tool will be available. I don't know yet. Hopefully. If it's not, I'll just continue on without it. So what I'm going to start off with is, and I got you on the side over here, is on this side over here, I've got cabinets. As you can see, I've got cabinets and I've got all this stuff over here. Now I've got plastic up here that I've used for as a barrier before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in right about in here and I'm going to put a curtain up there that's going to come down here and go around the car on that side, basically encapsulate that area to stop the stuff from flying around. Some of it will get out, some of it's going to get out in here in the shop, but you know what? It's a shop. Things get dirty, things get messy. It's a shop. This is not a kitchen. Well, kitchens are supposed to be cooked in, but people have to have those really fancy, I have to have these fancy wood, wood doors and wood panels and cabinets. It has to feel like a library in there. It's like, it's a place of work. It gets dirty. That's what this is. This is a shop. It gets dirty. It gets messy. You clean it up as you go along. So I'll try to stop some of the majority of it from flying out. But you know what? Past that, it gets dirty. It's the way it is. So let's get to it. And we are now partially tinted up. And this is what we'll all be working in. So that'll contain most of it. So you can see, yeah, be nice and easy to work on. And then to work on the dash, we'll just do this. We'll walk right in. And now we go inside the car. Be able to reach up in here, blast and blast and blast. Work on this stuff here. Figure out what I'm going to do with the radio bezel. And there we go. So we'll get working on that here pretty soon. All right, well, it's a couple days later. I've got plastic hanging up, and I'm going to do a little bit of prep work before I actually do all the cleaning of the bottom. And to start with, we're going to do a little welding first. I'm going to do some extra bracing on things, and then we'll start stripping it off there. And maybe the better half, when she goes and gets her nails, will actually go get me that Harbor Freight tool. I asked her to. We'll see if it happens. All right, well, flip this over. Yeah, that's all we do there. And get it moving. Now, what I'm going to be welding up first is going to be this in here. You see, you've got all these places where the plates that hold the springs in place are just kind of, they got their spot welds. There is a weld back in here from the factory. I'm going to weld somewhat across here. I'll weld some of this up in here. I got to get a clamp on it, but yeah, I'm going to get that one welded up. I'll get the one down here welded up. And just so you know, the factory this is galvanized. I believe these up here were galvanized as well. I know the inner rocker was galvanized. Doesn't really matter. That's all going to be gone bye-bye when I blast it. So, but yeah, some stuff was galvanized on the car. So let me get this weld stripped off a little bit here and weld it up. All right, well, I'm here in the bunny suit. So I did a little blasting, a little welding. So I'll get you in there and show you what I did. I did have some issues, a little bit of porosity because I went ahead and I blasted
this area out here and here so I could weld that up. And there's just one little spot in here that's some porosity for some reason. I'll take care of that at some point. I don't know why. Who knows? It's good enough. Gets the job done. It makes that much stronger than it was before. I may come later after I blast all this in here and weld probably that joint up, and maybe that over there as well. Doesn't hurt to stiffen that area up at all, you know. So my next step is I'm going to take my blaster and I'm going to work in all the nooks and crannies and the hard areas to get to, because she's supposed to pick that tool up for me, so we'll see. But all these hard to get areas is what I'm going to start working on, and I'll set the camera up and maybe you can get some of that. So I got to get the big, we get that going up there, that fan going, and I got more fans going, mask and all that kind of fun stuff. So you can do it. Anybody can do it. All right, well, I've been doing a little blasting on the bottom and the nooks and crannies, and then I kind of got tired of it, and then it started, the humidity got really high, and I just like, no, I'm not doing it anymore, because the amount of humidity, and you can only deal with so much going through the compressor and dry that out. I need to build a better dryer or buy a dryer for my air compressor. But anyway, you know, I mentioned that, you know, the better half was out, and she was going to see if you had one of those tools at Harbor Freight. Well, it showed it was in stock. She went, they couldn't find it. I think it was there because I have it now, you know. So, and I don't blame her at all. I mean, she spent a lot of time there looking for it, and if she, you know, she didn't find it, the employees didn't find it either, probably because it was in an odd spot, way up high, away from where it should have been, because they just don't have a place to put these. But I got it. So let's get to it. All right, here we go. And I'm using the black wheel. All right, well, according to that was about 5 minutes since I started. Push the button. I'm not putting any downward effort into it. I'm letting the weight of the tool do most of the work. You know, I hold it up here. It's just basically, I'm just guiding it along. And I would say that's pretty nice. And faster than me blasting it with the compressor that I have. I've only got a 60-gallon compressor, so it's kind of slow. I like it, so I'm just going to continue on working on this. I may set up a time lapse, let it go. We'll see. But so far, this thing is just awesome. It's like a hot knife through butter. I like it. All right, well, this is about, I'm guessing, 20 minutes of work. I don't know. I'll have to check the video here in a minute. But you can see that's just piece of cake. I mean, so much nicer than blasting. I mean, you got the little corners still to worry about, but the fact that you can get these big areas down that fast, you can start working into the corners. And you can see I was working into these as well. Some of these will need a little more work with some other brushes, but I mean, man, that is just so much faster. That's so much faster. Yeah, Mikey likes that thing's awesome. If you're going to be doing any of this kind of stuff, buy one. Just buy it. Yeah, hang on. I'll grab something here too. All right, so this is how much wear that has got from what I was just doing. Now, when you're using this kind of stuff, any kind of abrasive that wears away, you got to manage your corners. You don't want to bash them into things and use them up. It just comes with practice. You know how much you can push, how much you can do, and it just takes time practice. Now, this is what I'll use on a lot of the other stuff I can't get into easily, stuff like this, and the media blasting, which I use a crushed glass. There are wheels that have this nylon abrasive, which this is plastic with abrasive in it, kind of similar to this, but it's more of a wire brush type. And you can get them for these in many grits. I got to figure out what grit I want and put that in my wish list, and you know, for stuff I want to get. I'd kind of prefer, I think I would prefer the wheel with this on it all the way across for doing this versus this wheel. But since I don't have one, I don't know. But just judging from what I'm used to on this, I kind of think I would want that. But I could be wrong. I just think that the abrasive like this would work better for all the lumpy bumpy stuff, and this is better for the big flat areas. But this thing's awesome. It really is. I am thoroughly impressed. I mean, that's just making quick work of it right there. It is very dusty. I have a mask that I wear, and I also have an air cleaner that's up here that needs the filter cleaned, and I run that anytime I run dusty stuff. And actually I'm going to turn it on and leave and just let this all kind of air out for a little bit. But yeah, if you do any of this kind of stuff, and oh man, I wish I had this when I painted my El Camino years ago, because that lacquer paint, oh god, that horrible stuff to remove. I hated that stuff. It was just nasty. It was nasty stuff to remove. It would just gum up so bad. But I really wish I had this back then, because it's been a piece of cake. So, you know, maybe after this car, you know, maybe I repaint the El Camino, paint it black too, like everything else. You know, just black is my color of choice. So I'm going to let this air out and get something to drink. And I'll come back in here and work on it some more. And at the end of the video, maybe see the whole thing totally stripped.